Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time with us on a busy Thursday afternoon. As usual, we want to make sure you walk away with nuggets, right? The name of the game is you spend 45, 50 minutes with us today and you have some new sales ideas, some new product, right? And ways to make more money at the end of the day. And most important, help more families and consumers. So I think we are going to fulfill that promise today with this information we're about to go over. So make sure you take out your pen, paper, notes app, whatever you like to use is fine. We also have a Q&A box. You'll see a little Q&A pane, a question pane that comes up. You can type away there. And we want you to please jump in and ask questions, share comments, good, bad, and different. We literally create these weekly trainings because of your feedback, okay? At our Expo, for example, we had just about 250 people there. We surveyed everyone, and we literally take all of those survey comments, questions, answers, right? And that's how we create next year's Expo, right? So it's very, very important. Our agents literally drive our business and training. It's so important to know that. And I want you to feel comfortable knowing we not only do we look at your Q&A that comes in, but we literally mold our training platform around the feedback from you all. So it's very important, okay? Feel free to jump in, please. Okay, so what we're going over today is literally a new facelift, a renovation, if you will, with Emeritus Life Insurance Company. So they have made lots and lots of technology advancements, product advancements, commission advancements. I mean, there are so many new things going on there, and I'm not just trying to hype them up because we have Lance on with us today. No, the bottom line is we spoke at the Expo. If you were there, you heard his awesome presentation. In fact, based on the survey, he was in the top 3, which is always great to see. But we had so many questions, so much feedback after the Expo about Emeritus, and they wish they had a chance to speak to Lance more after the event, that we decided to bring him back on this Thursday webinar training. Okay, so not only was I impressed, okay, but we meet after every Expo and we discuss, product concepts, strategies, and what are we going to do as an IMO, right, to get the word out to our agents. And, are we going to take Emeritus and make them a core company this year in the top 5? Or are they going to hang out, a number, let's say 10 to 20? We'll use them if we have to, kind of thing. And no, the answer to the question in the meeting was no, Emeritus is going to be our core company. And we wanted to share the reasons why on today's presentation. So some very, very unique stuff that I want to share about the company, A-rated, of course. And then also there's a lot of things I just learned that I said to myself, our agents are going to freak out when they hear these things. So we're going to jump in to their story, what is new, what is different, why this is like a grand opening, if you will. And then we're going to show you some other things going on here at Levinson. I want to show you, and I feel like it's our job to share with our agents, right? We have 21,000 agents out there, everywhere, literally from California to Key West. And some agents are focused on the small term cases, some final expense, some on the monster IUL cases. So it really doesn't make a difference. The bottom line is we need to share with you all, right? What are the real nuggets? What's working for our other successful agents? What's going on with our competitors out there? What are we seeing, right, from our side? And you may know some of this, you may not, but either way, it's our job to kind of peel back the covers and say, look, yes, of course, we want most of your business, but the reality is you're probably working with another IMO or two, and that's okay. But again, it's our job to share the facts, and that's what we're about to do in just a second here. So let's jump into the first slide. And here's what is going on. And I'm seeing this. In fact, I saw this with one carrier, okay, which was very, very interesting because I don't believe in this. And then I saw this yesterday, last night, from a competing IMO that does exactly what we do. And I took a screenshot because I didn't want to forget sharing this on today's webinar. But here's the bottom line. You all as agents, right? You have your Bible of consumers, of prospects, of leads, right? Those are yours. Your business is based around those prospects, your network, your family, your neighbors, right? People you can market to and sell insurance to, right? No one should have access to those people, especially if you haven't even sold them a policy yet, okay? That's your bread and butter. So here's what we're seeing and what I wanted to share. And just out of respect, I'm not going to mention this IMO's name, okay? But the first time I saw this was with a carrier, and now I'm seeing it with, this is the second IMO that's marketing this. So, and I wanted to just shed some light to our agents. And like I said, if you're working with us with most of your business, great. If you're not, that's fine too, but I have to tell you the truth. So let's look at the slide in front of you. This is, like I said, another IMO. We'll call them ABC Financial, okay? This IMO sent out a marketing piece to all of their agents, okay? And supposedly they don't sell insurance on a retail level because that's a conflict of interest, right? If you're an agent, how can you send in your applications to be scrubbed at an IMO's office if 2 offices away they're selling life insurance? How do you know that they're not going back to your client a year later and selling P&C or health insurance? Okay? You don't know. So number one, make sure whoever you're working with is 100% wholesale operation. No brainer. Okay? I mean, that's a pretty simple solution, not rocket science. Okay, that's number one. So number two, what this IMO is marketing is they're saying to their agents, hey, all of our agents, if you go invite at least 50 to 60 of your consumers or prospects or leads that you haven't sold yet to our webinar, we'll do all the selling for you. Well, doesn't that sound great? Isn't that simple? Okay. So you're one of their agents, right? And you say, wow, they're going to do all the selling for me on a webinar in 1 hour. All I have to do is invite 40 of my prospects. I can't beat this. Oh, yeah, you just share with us your client's name, phone number, email, and address, and we'll get them enrolled in our webinar or Zoom or GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting. Okay, great. So now let's just say they have a few thousand agents, and all these agents invite 40, 50, 60 prospects to this webinar. Okay, and this particular IMO, who, by the way, pretty sharp dude. I know who he is. I've known him for years. Okay. So now this IMO, who's in my exact position, okay, gets on a webinar just like we're on today and sells your customer. Okay. And in this case, they're talking about a Social Security webinar for consumers. He's saying we already have over 200 registrants. Okay. So now thousands of agents send 40 to 50 of their best prospects, consumers that they haven't sold yet. Okay. Now, at the end of this hour, okay, obviously the consumers are going to be very impressed, but this IMO now has access to your 30 or 40 or 50 best prospects, names, numbers, email addresses, and they know who the guy presenting is, right? They have his email, they have his phone number, they have his address, company name. Why? Because it's in the thank you email that goes out automatically from the GoToWebinar Zoom software, okay? So now what happens when they reach back out to that office? Okay, now you say to yourself, well, gosh, Bill, that's a good point. I hope they send them right back to me. Okay, well, 30 to 40 prospects from, let's say, 1,000 agents, how are they going to know where each prospect came from? And you're telling me if that prospect reaches out a few months later and says, hey, guys, hey, ABC Financial, I'm ready to buy this $10 million IUL that's $132,000 of target premium. Okay, they're going to find you in the middle of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and say, hey, here's your prospect that was on our webinar, 6 months ago, a year ago, and they're ready to buy now. Okay, this is ludicrous. You never, ever, ever share your personal client prospect information, okay, especially if you haven't sold them yet, with any IMO, especially if they're not 100% wholesaler. It's ludicrous. It's like you're opening up the door to your house to strangers just to come in and take a nap on the in the master bedroom and open the fridge if you want a snack. It's crazy. Okay, there's a carrier doing the same thing. Okay, and there's no, and by the way, the carrier and the IMO, they don't really care because regardless, they're getting the business, they're getting the premium, no matter if it comes in direct, through another channel, through this agent, the original agent, they don't really care. They want the premium. And I hate to talk like this, but the bottom line is never, ever, ever share your prospects' information with anyone until you sell them. Okay, and then, yes, of course, send it in for processing, whatever it is. But you should be hosting your own webinars, and you control all of the data. You control when you get a phone call in 6 months that says, hey, Bill, I wasn't ready at the time, but now I am. Okay, I had a family member that passed. Now I'm ready. Okay, you control the prospect, the sale, and the product and carrier you want to sell. Okay, should be on your own go-to webinar software. And by the way, and if you're saying to yourself, well, Bill, this sounds great, I don't know how to put a presentation together, well, we answered that for you. We have 2 new turnkey life insurance presentations that we're going to be sending out the next week that we can co-brand for you. So you can host your own calls for your own prospects, okay? So you can build your own book of business, rightfully so, okay? So anyway, if you see this or hear about this, you just remember I put up the red flag. You can do whatever you want to do at the end of the day. No one's captive here, okay? But you need to be aware, and it's my job to share these stories with you. Okay, let's jump into the next slide here. I take this very serious because I just feel like, and I'm not going to point a finger or call out any names, but some people take advantage, right, of certain naive agents that maybe don't know any better. Okay, so now you know. It's very important stuff here, folks. I've heard horror stories with an agent that literally wrote hundreds and hundreds of clients. In fact, it was 20-year term policies through one company, and half their clients were sold a supplemental critical illness cancer policy through another agent a year later. They went back and they did a cross-sell on this whole book. The agent didn't make a penny, and now their clients are calling the new agent for assistance. It's stealing. It's literally stealing, okay? It just drives me crazy because what's fair is fair, and that's just not fair to me. You already did all the work to get the prospect. Okay, enough of my ranting. All right, you probably saw the invite, the marketing piece that we put out, and you probably saw the 115% commission. And if you know Levinson, we never, ever, ever talk about commission, okay? Today we did, and the reason why is because Emeritus, and I'm switching gears for a second, they are, in fact, the only company that pays a huge renewal on term insurance, and not just some overpriced term product that has no bells and whistles. No, one of the most competitive A-rated term products in the industry. Non-med, up to $1 million, up to age 70, best living or one of the best living benefit packages, all built in, no charge, and convertible to an awesome permanent IUL. Okay, I mean, there's no gray area here. Okay, the renewals on a 20, 30-year term could be up to 2.75%. Okay, depending on who you work with in your contract. But think about that: almost 3% renewals for 10 years on competitive term. In 2022, unheard of. So what I did, I took a baseline street level commission of 90%, okay, and I just did the math. It's about 115% commission on that premium on a 20 or 30-year term, okay, 115%. And that's agent street level, okay. Now, obviously, your contract can fluctuate a little bit, but what a baseline to start with. That's insane, unheard of. Like I said, the highest I've ever seen on competitive term products is maybe a point if you're lucky and you just won the lottery. Okay, now on permanent products, obviously different story, but competitive term, unheard of. That's where that 115% number came from. So wanted to share that. just as an example, lots and lots of money to be made here. So one of the great reasons why I wanted Lance to come back and share this great grand opening of Emeritus Life. I'm so excited. All right, speaking of the Expo, yes, he was there, one of our sponsors. What we did, in fact, we have a Expo video coming out in the next week that we'll share with all of you. But what a fantastic day, especially, we're still in this pandemic. And obviously, we hope we're on the better side of it. We're coming out of it in the very near future. But bottom line is we're still here, and we still had a great turnout. Awesome day. And like I said, Lance and Emeritus is a sponsor. We included all of his presentation sales material in a section on our website called Levinson Expo. We're going to send it out in the thank you email. We also celebrated our 50th anniversary in business at the Expo, 1972, before I was born, to today, 2022. 50 years of excellence. Not perfect, okay, but excellence. And why do I say not perfect? Because, yes, there are going to be times when a case didn't get issued the right way, or if there's a mistake made, whatever it is, okay, we're not, like I said, we're not perfect, but the reason why I say excellence is because we're going to be here for you, okay? If we need to turn it around, call in a favor, ask for a business decision, we're going to do that for you. Every night, we're usually here till 8:30, 9 p.m., Monday to Friday, okay? And if you say to yourself, oh, that sounds like a sales pitch, folks, my cell phone number is on my business card. You don't see that anymore, okay? For a reason. This is my life. And everybody on this call can tell you if they know me pretty well, okay? Anyway, let's move forward. Enough ranting. So real quick, what I want to do now is shift gears again. What's new at Levinson? And then we have one more slide. Then Lance is going to take the wheel. I know I'm talking a lot today. When we share these stories, by the way, and when I see something like that, okay, and it was 11 o'clock last night when I saw that and it came to mind, I get very passionate about our business. And what bothers me more than anything is you can make a great living in this industry at a carrier level, at an IMO level, at an agent level, with honesty, with integrity, with doing the right thing. So when I see things like that little red flag marketing pitch, okay, it drives me crazy because most agents have no idea that this IMO or this carrier, right, is plugging their own contact info with your prospects. Okay, and what happens 6 months later? I'm not going to get back into it again, but I want you to be aware, and I feel like it's my job to pull the covers back and explain it. So that's why I get so serious about this. All right, what's new at Levinson? We have some new incentives on the left side, some new carrier product updates in the middle section. In fact, Great Western now just basically have taken their 3 products, impaired risk, immediate and full final expense, put everything on one app. They made it very simple, revamped a few things. We're going to have a launch webinar next Friday. Symetra has also been a hotspot in the term and IUL space for quick underwriting. Let's move over to the right side, that new Ringy CRM tool, okay? You talk about prospects and your book of business, and I have never seen anything in my life work like this Ringy CRM tool. And just to give you an idea, we're trying it out at an IMO level, okay? You're going to do it, obviously, for consumers, but we're doing it at an IMO level, right, to get our name out to agents. And I'll tell you what, think about this for a second, okay? And by the way, we pass on a 30% savings to you. We don't make a penny on this, but if you're using it and you sell more product, obviously we both win. So it's in our best interest to make sure you're utilizing the best technology. But think about this. Okay, we have ads running on Facebook, and you should be doing the same thing. So we have, let's say, 1,000 agents that responded to the ad and said, hey, Bill, I want more info. Call me, okay? I want to set up an appointment. Out of the 1,000, okay, let's say maybe 10 to 15%, maybe 10 to 20% came on board, got appointed, started writing business, which is great. Well, what about the other 700-800 agents, right? What happened to those people? Well, they get put on a shelf and they collect dust. So what we do, and think about this, because you're going to do it for your consumers, prospects, we're going to take those 700 agents, for example, we're going to put them through a sifting machine called Ringy, Okay, so we take the 700, we put them into Ringy, and then what happens is we press a button, all 700 are loaded in to the CRM tool, and now a series of follow-ups goes out to those 700 agents. Okay, in fact, you might be one of the agents that are on this call today because of Ringy, because of our reach. So what happens is a series of follow-ups go out to the agent. Okay, text message, phone call, email. You can even do an automated call by pressing a button, and it leaves your voice on a voicemail. Very, very simple. You can touch 700 people in just a couple days. Well, guess what? Out of the 700, another 20% came on board already, and we started this 10 days ago. So imagine what you could do from a consumer side. Okay, so let's say that same 700 people were actually consumers and prospects, maybe that never bought anything from you, and now you just turned 700 people into a new consumer client. Okay, let's do the numbers. Let's say 10% is what? 70 new consumers, policyholders? Okay, what kind of commissions did you make off of that? 70 new term and IUL sales sold with Emeritus. Okay, what did you changed your year? That's another what? 50, 100, 150 grand? Okay, and that's only one list. So anyway, the opportunities are endless. My point is it's worth you getting comfortable with this platform. It works, and the proof is in the pudding because we're using it now for agents, which, by the way, if you're a GA, you should be doing the same thing. Okay, the next slide, and then Lance will take the wheel, is our top IUL core carriers. I was talking about it earlier. If you just take a look at the top left corner, circled in red, Emeritus, okay? They are back. Not only are they back, they have a new story to tell, a great story to tell, and that's the reason why we invited Lance back today for this new grand opening. They're also one of our 10 Stonewood IUL sales software approved compliant carriers. So that's another plus because everything's integrated, makes it very simple. Plus, Emeritus is now integrated into our iPipeline quoting engine, right, for iGo EAPS. So everything's 1, 2, 3 now. There's no more taking 3 or 4 steps just to run a quote and sign someone up. Everything is here at your fingertips, and you'll notice the green asterisk means Stonewood compliant. The red asterisk means scholarship approved. Okay? That simple. Top left corner, Emeritus. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our RVP, Mr. Lance Larson with Emeritus. Lance, you there, buddy?
I sure am, Bill.
Well,
thank you so much for having me.
Yep, we appreciate you taking the time, bud.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I had a chance to present, as Bill mentioned, at the Expo. That was a great chance to get in front and really get back in the swing of things. It's been a weird, as we all know, couple years of limited travel, a lot more webinars, et cetera. So it was really good to be in front of everybody, and the weather wasn't bad either, being from the Midwest. So, as Bill mentioned, it really is a sort of a grand reopening for Emeritus. And I actually, in the spirit of time, I'm just going to jump right in. You think about, and some of you have gone through some of these marketing classes, whether it was in school or sitting in some of these seminars, and you've heard this before, the 4 P's of marketing, right? And I know Bill's heard about this and kind of experienced this, but product, price, place, and promotion. We've heard that several times. So, I was thinking about Emeritus, and I've been here 3.5 years, and frankly, I've had a couple of pieces, but one I was lacking, and now I really am excited. I mentioned this at the Expo. I want to reiterate it again today. I feel like I finally have. I call it the 3 P's of Emeritus: people, product, and process. Since day one when I got here, I felt like we had a great story to tell from a people standpoint. Product has always been really, really good, and now I've got a process. So what I wanted to do for some of you is just quickly go through the 3 P's of Emeritus. Some of you are old veterans, you know all of this, so you can maybe help me even do the presentation. Some of you have not heard about Emeritus. So I wanted to, again, just give you a little bit of a taste so we can hopefully do business together. The first thing is the people, right? And when I say people, I really literally mean the people, but I also mean the company. As Bill had on his slide, there's a lot of great carriers out there, lots of good product providers like Emeritus that working with Levinson you have access to, and that's important. It's good to have lots of options. What I like to say is there's a lot of good carriers out there, but it really does come down to working with a carrier that's going to treat you and your customer with the utmost respect. And as you can see on the screen, these are some of the buzzwords we use all the time: longevity, strength, integrity, ownership. And maybe just to touch on a couple of those words. You think about ownership. I like to always pride or boast a little bit that Emeritus is a mutual company. And I've been in this business, 26 years. Funny, Bill mentioned the Expo 1972 before he was born, and that is when I was born, Bill. So I am a little older than you. I hit 50 in January. But one thing I've done half of my life, working for this type of financial services industry, I've always worked for stock companies. Being with Emeritus, it really is a breath of fresh air. I didn't know what I didn't know. Working for a mutual company, I like to say it truly is Main Street, not Wall Street. It really is that three-legged stool. It's about everybody on this call. It's about me, the insurance company, and it's about your clients. That's it. There's no extra Wall Street. There's no stockholders. There's no, we're worried about, getting earnings or saving money because we don't want the CEO to lose his big bonus because of Wall Street. We don't have to worry about that. It really does come down to the people. You think about integrity, and that's a strong word, isn't it? One thing I like to think about when I hear integrity, I think of like renewal rate integrity. Any carrier can have a really good annuity, IUL, cap rate, participation rate, et cetera, on day one. It's important to know what they're going to do with your clients in year 4, year 10, year 25. And that's another wonderful thing. I am happy to send each and every one of you a renewal rate history for one of our IULs we've had in force for the last 15, 20 years. And you'll be able to see what we do with our customers, with your customers, your clients. We like to say we're going to treat your clients with the utmost respect and just as well as the prospect you're going to go talk to about Emeritus tomorrow. And that's a big deal because not every carrier can boast that. So I wouldn't be the obligatory or the wholesaler if I didn't have this obligatory strength slide, right? But I do think it's important with Emeritus because Emeritus is not that household name. I frankly think, and I've said this to Bill, I feel like we're a sleeping giant that frankly, it's my job to wake up with your help. But this is an organization, as you can see, over $100 billion of life insurance in force already. Over 4.5 million customers today. We're paying out a tons of claims, each and every year, $40 billion of assets under management. So this is a strong insurance company. They've been around almost 140 years. They've been doing life insurance for a very long time. So the only reason I say that to everybody is this is not something we're just doing out of somebody's garage. This is not something that's offshore. This is an American, mutual company based out of Lincoln, Nebraska, that's going to take really good care of you and your clients, our policyholders. Switching gears to the product, people's important, and hopefully I gave you a little bit of flair for what we feel like we have from a value proposition for people, the company, and the people that are working for Emeritus. Switching gears to product. Product's important, right? If you don't have product, it's hard to compete in this business. I like to say with these two FLX products, we have a product that's an IUL with living benefits, and we have another product that's a term with living benefits. And I like to always say it really does, both these products work from the kitchen table all the way to the boardroom. And what do I mean by that? Well, as you can see on the slide, we are very, very competitive in that middle, market space. People that are looking for those term cases or maybe doing, the IULs more for protection. But we do actually have the ability to flex into that affluent market. We see a lot of premium finance business. We see a lot of max funded IULs, and this FLX IUL works well for that. We have a robust advanced markets team, so we have the ability to help you with any of your advanced planning, split dollars, buy, sells, etc. And then last but not least, we actually are in that foreign national market. A lot of carriers, like to dabble in it. We like to say, look, we're all in. So we have some wonderful guidelines where it makes sense to be in that market space. So it really does flex well from the kitchen table all the way to the boardroom with those two products. Again, I mentioned these are products with living benefits, and I won't go into a deep dive. I could be here for hours, and I know you don't want that. We can do that at another time. But I wanted to at least give you a commercial for these quickly, these two products. The term product, term can be term, right? It's sometimes a commodity. We love our FLX term for a number of reasons. One, we go out to the older ages. It has those 18 living benefit triggers, so you've got a lot of opportunities for your clients if something bad happens to get access to that money. I highlighted one feature, and I think that's important. We allow you to convert that term but till the end of the term or to age 65 to the FLX IUL. It's not a conversion product. You get to go to the good IUL. So you have, it's not a situation where we say you can only do it in the first 5 years, any of those things. You have that ability through the end of the term or age 65, we let you convert. And it's a commissionable event, by the way. The IUL, lots of good carriers, lots of good IULs out there. And again, just a brief commercial for ours. I think these 4 bullet points are really important. The first one, income for life. We have a rider that's automatically added to each policy. You don't pay for it unless you use it. But if you get to the end of the journey and, you're thinking about decumulation, if you will, do we do the tax-free loans? Do we do withdrawals? One other option is essentially, some of you are annuity guys and gals, it's like annuitizing the contract. And so we have this rider, this lifetime income rider, where you have the ability to have the client say, you know what, I want to make sure I never run out of money. I want that carrier to pay me a certain amount for the rest of my life. We have that rider. I call it the dusty shelf rider due to the fact that it is automatically added, like I mentioned. You don't pay for it unless you use it. We've got strong caps, and with this Index Universal Life, everybody uses the S&P 500. I'm proud to say that we've got those strong caps with the S&P 500. Ours is currently 9.25. We have not adjusted that very much over the last couple of years. So we really do like to keep those cap rates as high as we can for as long as we can. But the 2 last bullet points are the ones I think where we really separate ourselves from a lot of those IUL products out there, those accumulation IULs, which there's a lot of, right? But the 2 bullet points are we actually have a Momentum 5, the MMA 5, we call it the Momentum 5 Index that I'll talk to you about in just a second. And also the way we pay out the living benefits, we pay them out rather uniquely where it helps you and your clients understand how much money they're going to get on day one. So again, very briefly, I talked about the Momentum 5 Index. This is a proprietary index to Emeritus, so nobody else has this index on their life insurance products. We love the S&P 500. We wanted something that could complement the S&P 500. And so we went directly to the Bank of Paribas, one of the largest banks in the world, and said, build us an index that has, of course, diversification, right? We've all heard the saying, we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. But frankly, that's what we're doing, right? If we're putting it all in the S&P 500. As we all know, the S&P 500 is 500 of the largest organizations in the United States. It's a large cap fund, right? So what we wanted to do, because we love that and we offer that index, but we also wanted to offer an index that had global diversification, not only US based assets, but also all over this wonderful world of ours. We also wanted to have daily, and that's why I highlighted on the slide, daily allocation and risk control. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially think of it this way. We have, as you can see, I know the slides and the graphics kind of small, but there's 14 options that we have available in this index. Somebody much, much smarter than me is minding the store every day. They're choosing the 8 best performing indices, and they have the ability on a daily basis to make changes where changes are needed. So think of it this way. 0 is your hero, right? That's why we love these Index Universal Life products. Your clients cannot lose money. But think of this as an actively managed fund within a product where they can never lose money based on market performance. So you're essentially getting the best of both worlds. Higher participation rates because we have a direct deal with the Bank of Paribas. We're not buying these call options through a third party like a lot of carriers do. And then last but not least, it's that uncapped strategy. And we love that, right? Because, if you're a baseball fan, you can hit a home run every time you swing. I'm not saying you're going to hit a home run. In fact, frankly, I even like the singles and doubles. And with that participation rate that we have currently, that's 185%. Even if we hit a single, for example, let's say that this index is only up 3% for the year. Now we add 185% participation rate to it, and now we're in a higher range, right? It's locked in where your client can never have that taken away from them. So we're stretching singles into doubles, stretching doubles into triples, if you will. If we have a grand slam, so be it. If the market's up and this index is up 28%, your client gets 28%. So it is a wonderful index. Again, it's a nice story that you have where we're actually having an actively managed fund, daily dynamic allocation within an Index Universal Life product. So we love that. And then the other quick thing I wanted to talk about in regards to product is the way we pay out living benefits. Most carriers on their IULs use a present value calculation. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, they're going to take a number, whatever it is. Sometimes they say, well, hey, you can accelerate 90%. Well, that's just a starting number on a whiteboard, right? If you sell with Carrier X $1 million IUL and they say you can accelerate 90%, 90% of $1 million is 900,000, right? Well, no one ever gets 900,000. Again, that's just the starting number on a whiteboard. From there, each carrier is going to decide and look at how long the policy has been in force, how much money has been put into the policy, and most importantly, how severe was the event? How much of the life did it take off the policyholder's life expectancy? For example, a heart attack. Was it a mild one? Was it a severe one? Was it a moderate one? If it was a mild heart attack, maybe it didn't damage any of the muscle. Out of that 900,000, the carrier may come back to you and the client and say, well, we're only willing to, out of that 900,000, it equates to a present value of $128,000. There's no negotiation. You just have to take it or leave it. And in some carriers, if you do take it, I call it the OR product, meaning if you take the living benefit claim in the IUL, it blows up the IUL is over. I like to say I want to avoid that confusion. I want to be the and product. And so as you can see here, we do it differently. So with our product, and this is, you don't see this very often with the living benefits, but you see the G word, guaranteed amount received. So what we're saying is, and you see this if you run an illustration with us, and the policyholder will see this when the policy comes to them, is we guarantee a lump sum. If it's a terminal illness, it's 75% of the face amount. If it's chronic, it's 50%. If it's critical, it's 25%. Now, I'm from Iowa, so I got to use big numbers so it's easy for me. But think of it this way: on the far right-hand side, I can't even do left from right. On the far right-hand side of the slide, you'll see $1 million example. So think of it this way: you sell $1 million face for the FLX IUL with Emeritus. Something bad happens to that client. Let's say they have a heart attack a week later after you deliver the policy. There's no guesswork. There's no, what are they going to get? Are they going to get a lot? Are they going to get a little? The bottom line is, as soon as we, prove, validate, whatever the right word is, that they truly had a heart attack, they can get a check of $250,000. That's a guaranteed lump sum. So there is no guesswork involved. It's easier for all of you to explain. It's easy for the client to understand. The beauty of it is they would still have, because this is a lien approach, so think of it as a lien on the death benefit, not on the cash value, but the death benefit. So $1 million IUL, let's say they want the full $250,000. We write them a check, to pay for the bills, go to Vegas, whatever they want to do with that money, right? That's their deal. They still have $750,000 of death benefit working for them. With most of the competition, that's not the case. The other nice thing is, as we all know, heart attacks are not death sentences anymore. 40 years ago, majority of people that had a heart attack, they passed away. In 2021, 750,000 people had heart attacks in the United States. The majority of those people did what? They survived, right? So that is a wonderful situation. Cancer survival rates have gotten better, 22 straight years, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the ability to pay them when they need money, but it doesn't blow up the IUL. They can actually get some rest, get back to work, continue to contribute, and they can still have cash value at the end of the journey. The reason why you sold this product in the first place, right? Think of this product as the and product. If something bad happens, I can send them some money, and we can still get to the end of the journey with the cash value, with something to give to their kids, pay for their tax-free retirement, et cetera, et cetera. So I really do think with those two bullet points, that's why that product really stands out from a lot of the other products. We love our term product. It's good. It's competitive. I'm so glad, Bill, you brought that up. The renewals, it's out of the ordinary, right? Somebody, if you're writing a lot of term business, you think about not just getting paid that first year, but having us pay you that second year, that third year. Maybe it pays for an admin assistant. Maybe it pays for part of your office. Whatever it is, that's real money. It really is. So I'm glad, Bill, that you brought that up. So I've had that people story since I started. I've had the product story since I've started, and it's resonated well. The Achilles heel, if I could be candid with you, all of you on this call, has been my process. It's been clunky. And I'm so excited to tell you that we've been running a pilot program before the first of the year, and we've released this new process, this IGO Magnum instant decisioning underwriting tool as of March 14th, and it's been working extremely well. So I wanted to just, again, very briefly tell you why I'm so excited about it. Because some of you are probably going, well, IGO, who cares? Everybody has IGO. And you're absolutely right. An e-app is great, but an e-app is an e-app. What really is the exciting part of what this does is what we call Magnum. And there won't be a quiz on this, I promise. You don't have to remember Magnum. But essentially what Magnum does is it's the underwriting tool that's built on top of the IGO e-app. So what we were trying to do with this, like a lot of carriers, is have more of an underwriting engine. We all want things faster, better, stronger, whatever product we're talking about. And the life insurance industry is no different. We really do want to get things quicker in and out of your hands and delivered to the clients as quickly as possible. So some of the features, as you can see on the screen, some of these, and I won't go through all of them, you can read them, but I think the biggest two, or maybe three, the client collaboration is a cool thing. Some of you, and this is why, ice cream places have more than one flavor, right? Because we all have different opinions. Some of you like to own that entire process. You want to answer all the lifestyle questions with your proposed insured. Totally get that, and we have that, and that's the default. But with this new platform we have, we call it client collaboration. And if you like to be able to send a quick link to the consumer where they can fill out those lifestyle questions themselves on their own time, you can now do that. Sometimes clients don't want to tell you all their dirty laundry, right? They'd rather just fill it out themselves. You have now the option to utilize that client collaboration. Not required, it's just there, right? Some of you like strawberry, others like chocolate or vanilla. That's why we have different flavors and options. We can order the Paramed right during the EAP process. We use apps in exam one, if, and that's an if, right? Because we were doing a lot of accelerated instant decisioning. But if you choose that you want to do full underwriting, or we come back and say, yeah, it looks like we are going to have to get a Paramed on this one just based on the big data, you can actually get that set up, the appointment set up right during the EAP process. No more like the cable guy, hey, we'll call you between 8 a.m. and 8 o'clock at night, which is always frustrating, right, with some of these paramedical companies. We can get that appointment set up right away. Last but not least, that last bullet point, and again, optional, right? Because again, some of you are like, look, I want that policy. I want to deliver it. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. They want to touch it and feel it. Totally all good. Others, they're getting used to, with a lot of their other products and services, just send me a file, send me a PDF. I've got a lockbox, online, in the cloud, whatever. We have that ability as well. So you can do policies e-delivery or paper delivery. We use DocuSign. So if there is, and it's a very smooth process. We actually were doing this, during COVID, and we're going to keep doing it, but it's made the process simpler. If there is a delivery requirement, an amendment, anything else, it's so much simpler for you to push a few buttons and your client get that link on their phone and push a few buttons. So we love utilizing that DocuSign. Again, that's an optional process. If you don't want to use that, you do not have to. So briefly, how this underwriting decisioning tool works. Think of it this way. While you're filling out the EAP, we're actually going to go grab the big data while you're filling it out. And why do we do that? Well, you think about the traditional way. If I just had an EAP and you filled out all the information and you sent it to us and then we run the big data, in the olden days, we would run the big data after we got the app, and maybe we find something. We find a skeleton in the closet, right? Or maybe just something we need to clarify. Now we need to go back to you and say, hey, what about this? And then maybe it takes you a day or two to get that information and you send it back. And then it takes us a day to look at it. Next thing you know, we've gone back and forth once or twice and we've extended the cycle time by, it could be a week, right? Or longer. And we've all experienced that. With this new process, we're trying to get all of that back and forth eliminated. So we're getting the big data while you're filling out the app. And so when you ask a client, hey, have you had any heart conditions? I'm just using an example here, right? We're actually going to go run the big data. And maybe they say no. Well, we run the big data and maybe we get from a prescription drug check, we see that they're taking some medication that historically or traditionally is used for some type of heart condition. We're actually going to prompt you to ask them the question again at the end. And my little joke is, look, if we're asking you the question again, we found something, right? So what it's doing is it's trying to prompt that individual to make sure they give us all the information we need so that, one, we can make an instant decision quickly right there. Or if we can at least make an instant decision, it's going to be a very light touch with the underwriter. So the whole goal of this, and frankly, we've got the statistics to prove that it's working even better than we could have even imagined. I mean, obviously, instant decisions are great, but what we're also seeing is when we can't do an instant decision, the underwriter is able to look exactly at what the engine didn't like and make a quick, light touch approval or decline or whatever immediately, right when they get it. So we're having the cycle time slashed for emeritus. So it is truly a wonderful situation. On the slide you can see here, instant decision approved, or it goes to underwriting. And I think, again, that key phrase is light touch. In the olden days, when I say olden days, like last year, right, we would actually have to have that underwriter scan through all of these documents and all of this information, right, to kind of get to the answer. What we've got now with this underwriting engine we've put in place, it points the human underwriter to the place they need to look at. And so they don't have to scan through hundreds of pages of documents. So it really has made our underwriters happier. Happy underwriters, happy. It's kind of like happy wife, happy life. Happy underwriters, happy sales guys and producers like you in the field. So it really has helped everybody involved. So it really does kind of complete the circle for Emeritus. We've got the people, we've got the company story, a 140-year-old mutual company that's going to treat your clients with the utmost respect through renewal rate, integrity, and service. We've got the products that you can be proud of. These products, there's not a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're real products. They're going to be here for the long run. And now I've got this very easy from presentation, like maybe you're doing a Zoom call, you can present this product all the way to e-delivery. It's very non-evasive, quick, fast. Bill mentioned in his slide, the never pyramid up to 300,000 up to age 70, accelerated up to $1 million. So we've got a lot of great options here. And now with this lightning fast process, it really is a new day for Emeritus, and we're excited for all of you to give us a chance to earn a couple cases and experience that. So that was somewhat quickly, my commercial. Bill, do you want to take it back over?
No, that was perfect, Lance. And I know it was a lot of information. We're going to have our giveaway, our webinar giveaway. We're going to ask a question in about 6 minutes. And before we do that, we're going to show everyone how to get started. And then before we touch on that slide, we wanted to handpick a few questions that came in before we let you go, Lance, if you don't mind. Andrew, do you want to take a look? And then, by the way, for all of you that have asked questions or comments, we're going to reply to each and every person when we hang up this call. But we wanted to handpick a few with Lance on the call with us live here. Andrew?
Yep, thanks, Bill. I have two good questions that I've handpicked here. So one is from Amanda. She asks, in the case of living benefits, is there a scenario where they continue to make premium payments, or are premium payments waived? What's that look like?
That's a great question, Andrew and Amanda. So what we would actually say is it would not waive the payments on the IUL. Our term product is going to work just like everybody else's in regards to, theoretically, you would still make the payments, but we do see, I've been working with living benefits for a long time. In a lot of cases, if somebody has a term product and they have a living benefit claim, more times than not, they'll take the money and run. And I say that with peace and love. I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just they will take the living benefit claim, even though they could keep paying the premium for the term product. They usually don't, because it's a reduced face amount, and just it's not not very attractive. For the IUL with ours, since it is a lien approach, it's a loan on the death benefit. I like to think it gives the individual a chance to continue to make the payments due to the fact that they have the ability to go back to work. In my example, for example, heart attack, they have the ability to go back to work and continue to fund that so that they can keep growing the cash value. In most cases, when people are buying an IUL, they're trying to get to have more of something than they have now at the end of the journey, whether it be a lump sum, whether it be a tax-free retirement play, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're looking for. Now, if you have somebody that becomes totally disabled, et cetera, that's okay. We're going to send them the money, and that's the problem. There's not going to be any type of problem or negativity if they stop making the payments. Think of it as just like if you stop making a payment on an IUL today, without a living benefit claim. It's a universal life chassis. It will be able to help. If there's cash value there, it'll keep the policy in force until it's not. Right. So that really is just the way it works.
Great.
Andrew, do we have one more before he? Perfect.
Yep, I got one more. Bob is asking, how long does it take for the client collaboration process to be sent to the insured? Does it take 1, 2 days, et cetera? Does the agent get notified that the insured has been notified?
That's a great question. So, if you are in let's say, Bob, you're in the app, right? You're filling out some of the information. You get to the lifestyle questions, and you want to utilize client collaboration, essentially what you're doing is you're putting in their email address. We're using, I believe it's the last 4 digits of their SOCH as their code. You push the button and they're getting that link almost instantaneously. So now they have that. They're prompted to go in there. They're prompted to put in their 4-digit code. They answer those questions. And you're absolutely right, Bob. I think you're alluding to once they hit the submit, that it goes back into that, you get alerted. You will get alerted that they have finished that client collaboration. So you can go back in, review that, and lock it down. So it's exactly it. Think of it as instead of you doing it, they're doing it. Once they do it, you get notified, and you can actually finish up the app on your own.
Beautiful. Okay.
That's what we have.
Good stuff. Okay, we got just a couple minutes left. Lance, thank you again. Phenomenal work as always. We're going to send out contracting brochures, everything we just went over. So don't worry about that. It will be in your inbox before we wrap up tonight. So you'll see that. Check your junk folder as well, just in case you don't receive it in your inbox. If we have your incorrect email, just call and let us know, and we'll get that straightened out. Okay, Andrew, let's move forward. We got a few slides. I'm going to move very, very quickly, so just jot this down. Okay, to get started, if you already have an emeritus contract through another IMO, we match or beat your existing commission plus free leads or cash for contracting with your first application. So we'll include that coupon in the thank you email. And then, of course, the link on our website to get started. We have a complete turnkey IUL Experience microsite, which has all the marketing. We have prospecting books, presentations, the Stonewood software, everything you could dream of, to even host your own webinars. Like I was saying earlier, how a carrier and a few IMOs now are marketing to your consumers, okay, inviting them to their webinar. We have all the material so you can host your own. In fact, we're going to have a training on that in the next probably 6 to 8 weeks. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, now you're selling on the phone, right? You're in the middle of a pandemic. You're working your leads, whatever it is. You're using Ringy. You need to have our quote engine up on one screen and your non-med cheat sheet up on the second screen. Why? Because you're going to come across different types of prospects, different face amounts, term length, permanent products, health impairments. And this cheat sheet tells you where you need to go and how you can sign them up with an e-app or drop ticket in less than 10 minutes. So I encourage everyone to save this to their desktop. It's available on our website. Let's keep moving forward. Okay, real quick, the IUL sales software presentation system. This beats any webinar. In fact, speaking of webinars, this has a built-in webinar and seminar presentation deck as well. So another great tool. Think of this platform, okay, when we're talking about Stonewood for a second, which, by the way, Emeritus is 100% compliant and built into the platform. But think about Stonewood like this. When you're sitting down with a client or doing this through a webinar or Zoom, you're showing a 24.5-page IUL illustration, okay? Now, you're going to lose most prospects a quarter of the way into your presentation. They're going to see all these numbers, cap rates, current assumption, guaranteed floor, and their head's going to spin. You'll probably wind up losing the sale. What Stonewood does, it takes that illustration and turns it into a simple, easy to understand IUL presentation in layman's terms. It helps you make the sale, literally. So this is a no-brainer, and we can run these free in our office for you, okay? Or, of course, you could be a member. We even pay for it if you hit a certain minimum amount of IUL premium every month, okay? So we'll share that as well. All right, let's move on to the next slide. You know me, I'm always talking about SEO, Facebook ads, your website, okay? What does SEO mean, Bill? Is that your initials? No, it's search engine optimization, okay? Now, to a lot of you, this is like another language, okay? But this slide will explain it very easily, okay? Think about this for a second. We have a program called Insurer, very inexpensive, and in fact, the realtors use this all day long. But if you're a life insurance agent, right, you have your Insure Me Now direct page or your website, for example, right? The point is you got to drive traffic, okay? It's like having a storefront on University Drive, but no one's walking in your store. You got to get people, you got to get eyeballs into your website or storefront. So anyway, this is just a quick example. One of our agents sent this in to us. They said, guys, I just want to share, look at the results I'm getting from AssureWorks in my Insure Me Now Direct platform. So this is a Yahoo Sports website, okay, where someone, let's say in your network, a friend, neighbor, prospect, whatever it is, went online. They said, hey, I want to check out the Miami Heat score from 2 nights ago. I want to see if they won the playoffs, okay? Very easy. They jump on, see the score, boom, look at the bottom right corner, yellow arrow. That is our agent's Insure Me Now Direct ad, okay? That popped up on the Yahoo page. Let's look over to the right-hand side. On his ad there, okay, by the way, he's on this webinar, look at the results that he's getting from that small little 3x2 ad, okay? Almost 30,000 ad views total, almost 753 just yesterday. 37 of those people clicked to his website. Okay, that's one day. That's insane. If he turned 2 or 3 of those people into new policyholders, boom, it's a win. This is pennies on the dollar, folks. We offer this at a discounted rate. You got to look into this stuff. Let's keep moving forward. This is the next podcast. Speaking of leads and prospects and turning them into policyholders, there's no better way than by using Ringy. Okay, the CEO, who happens to be a friend of mine, Brad, is going to be our guest speaker on episode number 38, launching May the 4th. Okay, may the Force be with you. I think that's a Star Wars little pitch there, right, Andrew? Anyway, tying that in on May 4th, it's going to be me, Brad, and Carlos, and we're going to talk all about Ringy and how you can use this to turn your prospects and leads into policy holders. It's going to be a 1-hour interview. I promise it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be wearing my agent hat, speaking on your behalf. I'm going to just fire away with questions that you would want to know. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's keep moving forward. Almost done here. I know we're running a couple minutes over. Future trainings, this is what you're on right now. So speaking of Ringy, we're setting up as we speak a 4-part training webinar series over a 6-month period. So even if you're not in the program yet, okay, the point is between these 4 hours of training, we're going to make sure that everyone is comfortable, and it doesn't matter if you're 17 or 88 years old, okay, you're going to know the basics and know enough to flip a switch and get this thing on autopilot, okay, save your 30% and start getting leads in today. I'm telling you, and again, we're not making a penny. The savings is passed along to our agents at 30% for 6 months. It's what's the price now? $70 a month. It's a game changer. 30% savings. So take advantage of that. Now, highlighted in blue, those are our upcoming training webinars. Just make sure you jot down those dates. Our keynote, Mary Reed, is going to have her part 2 distribution solution strategies training on the 12th of May. That's going to be a big one. Final expense with Great Western, that the 3 new products on the 1 new app. That's going to be a game changer in the final expense world. That's going to be a 30-minute quick one. And then right on top of that, we have our new bonus sales strategy for business owners. So great way to open these doors to business owners online and literally face-to-face meetings. So they're back bigger and better than ever. That's going to be a +1. Let's move on to the last slide here in our giveaway. So this is going to be a little tough. I did mention it, okay, in the beginning. This has to do with our giveaway. And before I do that, I want to talk about our Positive Tuesday quote, okay? Now, just pay attention to this for a second. This is important because I don't care what business you're in, personal, business, fam, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever the case is, think about this quote, and it makes so much sense if you let it just sit for a second, digest it. Instead of focusing on everything that might go wrong, let's try focusing on everything that will go right. Okay, when you think about all this new technology, you just saw AdWorks, you heard me talk about Ringy, you heard me talk about this huge commission on a term product with a 10-year renewal, okay? You're hearing about a lot, and you can just say, oh, it's sales pitch 101, it's not real, it's gray. what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, what if it does work out? And what if Ringy all of a sudden gets you 10 new leads on your calendar that want to speak to you tomorrow at, 9, 10, 12, 2, 4, 5, whatever the case is? And what if it works? And what if you can change your year? And what if you can be an MDRT producer by trying out some of these new programs? Not everything, okay? But handpick a few. Get comfortable. Learn the basics. It's working for a lot of people, I promise you, or else we wouldn't be in business. Okay, so just think about that for a minute. Let's have our question of the day. And everybody's fingers need to be on their keyboard and ready to go, because you have to answer first and you got to be correct. And we're going to ask our question of the day right now. We're giving away the Amazon Echo and 3 prospecting books. 3 new prospecting books and the Amazon Echo. And we're going to announce your name right now if you answer correctly. The question is, I spoke about the term renewals. What was the percentage of the renewal that I gave in my example? Okay, on the term renewal, what was the actual percentage of the renewal for 10 years? What was the percentage that I used in my example? You tell me, you win. Andrew's checking right now to see who was first and who was correct. And Andrew, do we have a winner?
We do. First correct is Amanda K. Amanda K from Georgia.
Amanda K. The answer was 2.75% renewals on term as a baseline street agent example. Amanda, congrats. Congrats to all of you, because you stuck with us today over an hour. Okay, so I appreciate it. I hope you walked away with nuggets. Have a great day. Have a great Friday, great weekend. Okay, we're here for you. We're not perfect, okay, but our customer service is excellent, and we will turn a bad into a positive every time, and the proof is in the pudding. So with that said, great selling. Thank you again, everyone.